Hello, let's have a look at the astrology as we go through this weekend from Friday the 24th of January 2020 through to Sunday the 26th. I'll be back on Sunday with a full look at the week ahead and we'll go into more detail about what's coming. But today things are changing big style because we've got a new moon coming up and that new moon is in Aquarius and Aquarius is going to be square Uranus and there's quite a lot going on with that. And that is going to really set the tone for this weekend ahead of us. So right this minute, the moon is in Capricorn as I'm doing this. I'm doing this about something like 9:45 a.m. UK time, that's GMT. And she stays in Capricorn right through until that new moon, which comes in 5:20 a.m. Pacific, 8:20 a.m. Eastern and 1:20 p.m. in the UK afternoon. And that's when things really start changing. That's really when things are on the move. Now, any new moon is a time of completion. Excuse me a minute. Things in nature come to a lull. I should have checked that before. But it's that kind of weekend. It really is. Little irritating things can build up and we've got to try and keep it real. A lot of people would say you were crazy if you tried to keep it real by taking notice of astrology, but believe me, astrology is an incredibly real influence. The only reason people dismiss it is because they don't take notice of it and they don't realise how closely it lines up with everything. So a time of lull, time for completion in terms of old activities, things you've been doing in the last sort of moon cycle really need to be coming either to a stage of fruition or being put behind you. And it really is a time of moving on to doing the next thing, to making the next set of things come into life. With the Capricorn moon, and this isn't for very long because the moon is actually void in Capricorn by now, but rules and regulations are dominant, and that's what we've had for the last couple of days. It's been a time for anything that took extra responsibility, where you had to be self-disciplined, that kind of thing. People weren't terribly emotionally pliable, I'll say that, and that really is changing actually as we go into the new moon in Aquarius. So right this minute the moon is 0.2% full. That really is the new moon. It's so new moon it might as well be new moon. And that's actually going to change just into the afternoon in UK. And if you're watching this on the west side of the States and Canada, it's already happened. If you're watching it east side, well, it's either happened or it's very close. So moon void in Capricorn. Mercury is sextile Mars at the moment. Quick reactions. People tend to, move quickly. It's, rapid travel is what it's all about. So if you're making a journey, it might go a lot quicker than you expected to. On the other hand, things can change very quickly. That's what we're saying. Venus square Mars, passions, desires, that kind of thing. Could be difficult, could be competitive. But if you're kind of careful about it, it can bring a lot of success around love and money. Jupiter sextile Neptune. Mars square Neptune, so Neptune is involved in the picture, and that makes things a bit kind of questionable and competitive again. So, it's a bit of a competitive time at the moment, and that is actually going to be setting the scene as we go into the new moon, so it's seriously worth thinking about at this moment. As we go through the weekend, we have got moon in Aquarius, and that's going to really be most of the weekend. The moon's going to enter Pisces, 3:44 p.m. Sunday on the west side, 6:44 p.m. Sunday east side. Here in UK, 11:44 p.m. So it's almost going to be Monday before the moon enters Pisces. So we really are looking at an Aquarius weekend of it, and we really are looking at an Aquarius new moon. Now then, Aries is actually square Uranus, so it's a new moon in Aries and it's a new moon square Uranus, and Uranus went direct on the 20th of January, so is actually very direct now, is actually heading the right way, and has actually got quite a lot of energy behind it, having just come out of retrograde, and it does bring kind of uncertainty. It makes the unexpected come into being a lot more easily, so who knows, very difficult to call, but what I will say say is, and the internet is calling this crazy mood swings, which is a good way to sum it up, really. But yeah, things could change very quickly in relationships because of that. Could be, you know, anxiety for some people as well, and a fair bit of insecurity. I don't know. I've felt a bit insecure the last few days as we've built up to this, so no doubt lots of other people have as well. But basically, you know, if you can sort of stay focused, you can really make, well, wealth, success, and true love, actually, are all quite feasible if you can stay focused. It's a lot like the Obsidian journey here. If you've ever worked with Obsidian, the crystal, which is a kind of volcanic glass, and it's very black. It brings up, you know, all kinds of troubles come up, and, you know, you have to face all your demons, basically. But once you've got through it, it's fantastic. So it really is worth making that journey. That, though, working with that crystal is a choice. And when I used to work in a crystal shop, I used to advise people to be very careful about, you know, just going into working with Obsidian willy-nilly is not a good idea. You've got to be in the right place mentally. There's another stone called Spanish aragonite, which is a beautiful red stone. I've got a crystal ball of it here, but it's like too heavy to pick up at the moment, so I'm not going to. But it's a beautiful stone, and that will make it all happen more gently. And what will make this new moon pass in a much more gentle way, actually, is if you can just sort of stay focused on what is actually truth, and what is actually not just truth out there generally, but what is truth for you. Where are you headed? Where are you going? And where are the significant people, the significant players in your life going? Because the new moon is just the beginning of a cycle, and there are great things ahead of us as we go through it. Another thing about this new moon, right, is that I'm just trying to look it up on my thing here. Here we go. Right, she is only 2 minutes. And a minute there is a fraction of a degree rather than in time. 0 degrees, 2 minutes away from a fixed star called Derby, and Derby tends to indicate a crisis. Quite honestly, it's a harsh aspect. It's been said about it that it would produce more crises than anybody would actually wish for. And I suppose no one really wishes for a crisis, but, you know, a crisis can be a turning point, and it can be positive. It can cause extreme emotional problems, actually, and when people are going through that, it restricts the balance of people's emotional makeup and the way the nervous system actually has that physical effect on the nervous system. So it really is important to understand that we're going to get through this, that this is just the case. Really, more than anything, actually, today, Friday the 24th of January, but going through the weekend, it is going to be an important consideration. After that, though, we will have gone through that weekend, and things will be a whole lot better in that sense. If this new moon is directly affecting your star sign, your sun sign, you know, just look around at the horoscopes here on YouTube, and, you know, if you look up your own monthly horoscope on the internet, it will give you a lot more insight into that. Okay, I'm not going to say too much more about it, except that there is another side to Derby, and there's another side to this whole thing, because Venus is going to be sextile Jupiter, for one thing, and that means good luck, maybe good news about money as well, as long as you kind of keep focused, you know, keep focused on what matters to you. Try to manifest it, you know, and if you're not used to the idea of manifesting, it can be as simple as closing your eyes and wishing for a thing. Can even be as simple as opening your eyes and wishing for a thing. There's nothing wrong with keeping your eyes open, quite honestly. But, you know, I talk about closing your eyes. It just kind of shuts the world off from your field of vision, and you can really sort of look up without actually the round things at the top of your face, but with the third eye. And I hope your third eye is feeding you lots of positive information, because there are a lot of positive things going on with this at the moment. I'll just quickly say the times of the new moon across the world, really, because I know people are watching. I tend to set this up for the States and Canada and UK, where I'm based, but let's take a look at it. In Sydney, it's actually January the 25th at 8:41 a.m. local time there. Delhi in India, January the 25th at 3:11 a.m. Here in UK, 9:41 p.m. New York, it's going to be 4:41 p.m. Los Angeles, 3:41 p.m. So there we go. That's the times of it around the world. Hope everyone has a great weekend. I will be back on Sunday. The tarot readings for what is it? I think the water signs I haven't done yet. Can't quite remember. I think it's the water signs that I'm going to be doing next. And they'll be coming up either today or tomorrow, depending on how long it takes to get the blinking things uploaded. But I'm always doing more readings, so if you've enjoyed this today, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, tap the bell so you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment, please, because it is really, really good to know who I'm working with. It informs me as I'm studying these things before I make the videos, you know. More astrology coming your way on Sunday from me for the week ahead. Meanwhile, have a fantastic Friday, the 24th of January. Enjoy this new moon, okay? It's a time of new changes, which can be in a very positive way. I've just been pointing out the pitfalls, because they're what's most likely to get people. But if you can keep thinking positive, it's going to be a good one. Okay, so I'll see you again very soon. Peace.